Well, hey everybody, it's Sandy and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to my kitchen. So today I want to make some chewy, chocolatey, delicious walnut date bars. Now the bulk of the sweetness in this recipe is going to come from medjool dates. So for those of you who aren't familiar with dates, they are a fantastic low glycemic sweetener. So I actually read a study a while back in which some researchers took a group of diabetic volunteers and had them eat dates and more dates and more dates. And when they were done, they were made to eat more dates. And no matter how many dates these people ate, they could not get their blood sugars to spike. So dates, being a low glycemic index food, are the perfect sweetener in these bars that need to be chewy. And the glycemic load of dates can actually be reduced depending on what they're combined with, like, for example, nuts, which we're going to be using in this recipe. Now, in addition to all that good news, did you know that dates have one other fine attribute, in my opinion, probably the finest? Dates will enhance the flavor of the chocolate. So we're going to use just a little bit of melted chocolate in this recipe, but these bars are going to taste very chocolatey, largely thanks to the dates. So let's get started. Okay, so to get started, we're going to need our medjool dates. Now, I'm going to do most of this off camera, but you do want to get the pits out. Don't be intimidated. Think that you have to buy pitted dates, guys, because the pit just comes out really easily. That's it. So we've got 15 pitted dates. I've got my walnuts, okay? I just buy the ones that are already chopped up, so they're like walnut bits and pieces. I've got my hemp seed. Hemp seed is an excellent source of magnesium, potassium, zinc, copper. In addition to that, we're going to use some peanut butter. That's sort of the glue that's going to bind this all together. They don't taste peanutty at all. I've got a little bit of coconut topping. That's to your taste. I'm just going to put that on top of the melted chocolate. Some sea salt, some vanilla, and then the chocolate of your choice for melting. So in my opinion, guys, the darker the better. First of all, that's the lowest sugar. Of course, you can use the sugar-free chocolate for melting. I'm not going to be doing that, but I find an 85% is perfect. We like really dark chocolate because it packs that deep punch. We're only going to be using 4 ounces of chocolate for this entire recipe and spread that over these bars. But the dates and the chocolate are really going to enhance each other so that that little bit of dark chocolate is just perfect. Now you're going to need a 9-inch square pan, and I put a piece of parchment paper in there so that it'll be easier to lift these bars out. So make sure that the paper is long enough that it comes up the sides so you have something to lift them out with. And then we're going to be using a food processor and whatever you want to melt your chocolate in. I usually use a glass measuring cup or a glass bowl. You can do the chocolate melting over a double boiler, in the microwave, in spurts, whatever you choose. Okay, so first off, I'm going to put the nuts into the food processor bowl, and then we can lay our dates on top of a bed of those nuts so the dates aren't all stuck to the bottom. And as I said, we're just going to be pitting the dates. The pits come out real easily. Okay, I'm going to add my hemp seed, our sea salt, little vanilla. And I almost forgot, I want to show you guys the trick I use with peanut butter. So I go ahead and spray the inside of the measuring cup. It's not a perfect trick, but it's an excellent trick, and it also works for honey. Whoops. And most of that just comes right out. It's so easy. Now, normally I would use the food processor only off camera because it is so noisy. But I think it's important to show you how I blend this, because if you just turn this thing on full force, you're going to get a big glued up mess because the dates are going to get stuck to the blades. So it's really important to pulse very, very slowly to begin with to get it started, and then pulse a little quicker and a little quicker until you can turn it on. And I'm just going to pulse until it comes together. And sometimes I still have to get in there with the scraper and pull chunks apart to get them better blended. But usually pulsing slowly and being patient takes care of it. And I'll do slightly longer pulses. This is going to form like a mortar. Now I've got longer pulses. Okay, so I just want to give you a shot at just how moist and crumbly it is. Get these, you can really press this however you like it. All right, so I'm going to put this into a pan and I'm going to try to press it all evenly down once I get it into my pan. And you know you've done well with mixing this evenly if you don't have dates stuck to your blades. Okay, and then I just want to make sure you can see that there. I'm going to press these in with my gloved hand so I get a nice even layer. All right, so I've got a nice pressed down even layer of my date walnut mixture, and this is just going to go in the freezer to firm up for about 20 minutes. All right, so I'm going to get ready to do my chocolate topping. I'm just going to measure out 4 ounces of my chocolate here. Exactly right. That never happens. Chocolate topping. So I've got my 4 ounces of chocolate here ready to melt. And I just do it in the microwave with a tablespoon of oil. So this is a coconut oil. You can use any kind of fat you'd like. This is a kind of a Nutiva, has a buttery flavored coconut oil, which I really like for this kind of a recipe. And then this is going to go in the microwave in maybe 30-second bursts. I'm going to check it and stir it in between. And I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. I've got my chocolate melted. So by the way, with chocolate, you don't want to ever overcook it or burn it. If you're using the microwave and you get to the point where you check it and it's mostly melted and there's a few chunks in there, try just taking it out and stirring it. And usually those will just melt in while you're stirring. So you don't have to keep microwaving it and risk getting it burned. Pour it onto my bars. I'm going to take an offset spatula and just spread that around. It's just a little thin layer. This is 4 ounces of chocolate for the entire recipe, and it just makes all the difference. These are very chocolatey. Do want to work kind of quickly because the cold bars will help the chocolate to solidify fairly quickly. This is going to go back in the freezer. Walnut bars. I'm going to add the coconut. You can really do this to taste, but I will tell you that it makes the dish actually easier to eat if you're going to pick it up with your hands, because you don't get that melty chocolate on your fingers if you've got the nice coconut coating. So I think getting some coconut on there while the chocolate is still melted and it'll stick is a good idea if you like coconut. And by the way, this is unsweetened coconut. Okay, there's no reason to buy coconut with added sugar. And this just also gives it another dimension, a little bit of texture. It's a nice flavor. I really like the coconut. All right, back in the freezer it goes. All right, guys, so I'm back and we're getting really close to the fun part. So here are my date walnut bars. They've been in the freezer for about 20 minutes. Now, here's where this parchment comes in handy. You can just lift it out. I'm just going to let this sit for probably about 10 minutes, because if I try to cut it right now with this chocolate right out of the freezer, the chocolate topping will just break. So I'd rather try to keep it intact as best I can. Look how beautiful these look. So I'm going to sit for about 10 minutes and then we'll cut them into bars. Okay guys, so my bars have been sitting for just about 10 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and cut them. I'll let you have a look. Look guys, a beautiful solid date bar with a chocolatey layer on top. You won't believe the difference this chocolate makes. And guys, well, all right everybody, we've got our delectable, chewy, chocolatey date walnut bars. So with the chocolate that we used in this recipe, the 85% dark, each one of these bars has only 1 gram of added sugar. Now, of course, you can use the no sugar chocolates if you'd like. I personally don't tend to use the artificial sweeteners like the xylitol or the erythritol. Guys, these are filling, they are delicious, and they are chocolatey, rich, and chewy. Guys, I think you're really gonna like this recipe. I hope you'll try it, and if you do, please tell me in the comment box below your feedback. And if you have any other recipes similar to this or your own rendition of this kind of thing, I'd love to see that too. So until next time, be well. Bye-bye.